care about it?
No, I'd be no good bald, and my wife would definitely leave me. Look, you know, like I said, Tom, it's just I've never been this kind of guy who, you know, woes me and can anything else go wrong. I just think, you know, it's a hell of a challenge. I keep telling the guys in there, it's just going to make the story better, you know, and more interesting at the end, wherever we end up. It's just part of, you know, and I think these things do kind of go in cycles at times where you just feel like, oh my God, what else, you know, every time I get a message or an update, you know, what else could possibly go wrong? But I really believe all these things are just temporary. They're a good test of character, they're a good test of resolve, they're a good test of resilience, and I still, you know, think that within that context, there's still opportunity for growth, and we'll get through it. We'll you know, as I said, I've got a really resilient group of players who are just refusing to make excuses. They're working as hard as anything. That's all you can ask for, and eventually we'll get over this. And who knows? You know, I think they do go in cycles, mate. There's been times I've won things and I've thought, I don't know how that happened. The footballing gods were smiling on us, you know, and. You know, I don't question it then because I think we deserve the success, and I don't question it now. It's just where we're at.
When you beat Newcastle last time, obviously you referenced the injuries, but you made a pretty blistering start, and there's quite a lot of those games you scored early.
Yeah.
This, since in 2024, to be honest, there's been a lot of times when you've fallen behind, particularly giving yourself a bit of a mountain to try to turn it around. What do you put that down to? Why does that consistently happen?
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, some of it's just, I don't know, it's context. I rarely think those things are an occurrence because of something that's really tangible. I think there's always reasons for those things. I don't think we're slow starters. I don't think we're, you know, it's not like we don't create chances. I mean, a lot of these games, maybe not the weekend, but a lot of these games have fallen behind. We've had the best chance to score first, and we haven't. I can remember at least 3 of them in recent times. We've had unbelievable chances in the first 2 minutes of a game to go ahead, and we don't, and then the opposition score. So I think there's always context to that. But I think it is important at home that it does make a big difference if you can start strong and get the first goal, because it kind of helps you build momentum into a game. And, you know, for us, you know, going goal behind, even though our sort of propensity to come back is still strong, it's not helpful, particularly in the current situation, because it just requires a hell of a lot, again, more energy that probably we don't need to be using right now.
I'm just finding, I know you've been asked a lot of times about James Maddison and he's been out of the team because he's a big name, creative player.
Yeah.
But he does seem like, on the face of it, almost like a poster boy for your style of play, and yet it is, in 1 week, I know there's a lot of injuries, but I suppose the question is, what is it about him that he needs to do to get him to become...
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that. I mean, he was due to play last week, but he was sick, so I had to change the team on the day and sort of leave him out on the bench. But he was ill on the day. So, but I think the reason he's still doing well is I've kind of have been able, because I've got midfield numbers, rest him a little bit. I just don't think any player can play the volume of games we're playing at the moment in the way we want to play and maintain performance. So I just don't think it's feasible. So I don't think there's anything in the way Matters is playing that would mean he'd get more game time. I still think the key with us with Matters is to keep him healthy, keep him fit, keep him sharp, and that is by not playing every game, especially with like I said, the program we've got. So I think when he's played this year, I think his goals tally's strong. He's always impacted the game, and that's what we need him to keep doing. But I don't think that means he's going to play more. I just don't think it's feasible for anyone. I mean, at the moment, the only ones who are kind of playing regularly are the ones we've got no real options for. That we have to play them all the time. I'd love to give Dom Solanke a rest. I'd love to give Kulusevski a rest. I'd love to give Radu and Archie a rest, but because I think that would help improve performance. But it's just a cycle we're in.
Matt, can you talk a little bit about Jed Spence? He suddenly feels important to you from being nowhere for 2.5 years. Has he impressed you last month? And what do you need to be on the outside to suddenly be crucial?
Yeah, no, you're right, and a lot of it's just down to him. He's just really knuckled down. Has to be patient, but I think he's been really good for us. And as I was saying at the time before, even in tough times, you get these little sort of spurts of opportunity for others that maybe wouldn't have happened for Jed. You know, the reality of it is, if we'd have everyone healthy, he wouldn't get the opportunity, and in January we'd be looking at a different scenario for him. But right now, he's performed really well. You know, I was really disappointed he got sent off against Forest, because I think he could have helped us last week. And he's very important for us now. Destiny going down, especially, not because he's just a player available, but he's actually, in the games he's played really well. He's made an impact, and maybe he senses that opportunity as well, and the opportunity now to sort of not just now sort of become part of Tottenham on a permanent basis in terms of in his own mind where he feels settled, but now pushing to be a starting player. And I think he has the capacity to do that.
Do you think there was something missing? Was there something he was doing wrong?
No, I don't think there was anything missing. I think, there's obviously, there was probably a reason he hadn't settled, whether it was here or anywhere else. But, I think I mentioned the start of pre-season, there was an opportunity for him here. We were going to give him that opportunity. We weren't going to necessarily get him out alone. The rest was up to him. And a lot of that is just how you deal with, how he dealt with the fact that, he had to train every day really hard without a lot of prospect of playing, and I think he impressed everyone with his attitude towards that. Maybe in the past he was maybe a little bit impatient, or maybe his attitude wasn't great in terms of, he wasn't playing or he wasn't feeling like he was a regular. But this year he's had to bide his time, and he's done that in the best possible way, waited for his opportunity, and then now when he's got it, I think he's grown. Look, some of it's just maturity too, he's not a young boy anymore, and he probably feels like, well, if I'm going to have a Tottenham career, now's the time to kind of grab that, and I think he has done that.
Just back to what you said to Tom about Maddison, you said he was not well enough to start, but he went to the darts that evening. Were you kind of fine for him to be there, given he wasn't able to start the game?
Well, he wasn't doing the darts. He was kind of, no, I've got no problem with that. I've got no problem with the players having lives. It's a lot different trying to play a game of football and, living a life. I don't see any problem with that, and I don't think it sort of hurt him. He just, like I said, he wasn't 100%, and it was a game where we needed somebody to be 100%. He was still well enough to play, so it wasn't like he was bedridden. If he was bedridden and didn't turn up to the game and then went to the darts, then there may be an issue there, but I have no issue with that.
Tom? And I know hindsight's a wonderful thing, but do you look back now this summer and think that the deals that were done there were maybe a bit light?
No, because again, like I said, hindsight's an easy thing, but I still feel the players we brought in. I mean, no one will tell me that Dom Solanke or Archie Gray or Lucas Bergvall, but obviously Wilson, we've hardly seen him, are not good acquisitions for us. I just in the world of hindsight, everything looks so much easier and simpler and clearer, but that's not the world I live in. I live in the real world, and I think the business we did was good, and I think medium and long term will be fantastic for this football club. I've got no doubt about that. We've got some great players in. We tried to do some other deals that didn't happen, but that's because they weren't the right ones for us, or we just couldn't make them happen. But I didn't expect to have this kind of attrition in terms of the playing ranks. I think even if, say, two out of all of our defenders, whether it was Vic and one central defender, were fit through this period, I'm sure we wouldn't be in the spot we're in.
Do you understand those and say that maybe some of those shortages were foreseeable? I mean, for example, Ringon, Van der Ven, left centre back, has a history of injuries. That maybe some of the.
Yeah, but okay. So Van der Ven, we've got Radu Dragusin, we've got Ben Davies. How many centre backs do we need to have? 7? That's the real world. So unless you're saying that those players aren't good enough and they needed to move on, to bring in a 5th centre back who, if everyone was healthy, wouldn't play at all, we had enough cover, but we didn't expect to lose all our centre backs in one go. And any club, so you name me a club that if they lost their 2 starting centre backs plus their backup centre back would be flying right now, or would have another centre back that could walk in to do exactly the same job, I'll be very surprised. goalkeeping is always a tricky one because, again, you want to bring in the right kind of goalkeeper. It's not just about numbers, but like I said, in hindsight, everything looks clear and everyone wants somebody to blame. Everyone wants somebody to be at fault. And sometimes it's just the way things happen and you deal with what you have in front of you. So the perfect plan does not exist, but I understand the need for people to think that that's the way it should be, that I should have, or not me, because it's not about me, this football club should have every base covered so that every possibility that happens throughout the year you have a solution for. Well, that's not the reality.
How many players are affected by the movements?
Just a few. We'll see. Fair to say, I almost got involved in training yesterday, so which is not a good thing, by the way.
Would it be a sort of last-minute check? Kind of
Yeah. We'll give them. I mean, it's illness, so you kind of, you almost work hour by hour. So hopefully, I'm hoping it's not too bad. I'm hoping that, but obviously disrupted our training week. But I'm hoping that we'll be okay.
How many missing from training? Sorry.
A few, mate. A few.
Can you give us an insight? No.
Is Maddison feeling all right?
He's better. He's trained. Yeah, he was still sort of. It was good to give him a sort of couple of days away from training and everything, but he was better. He trained anyway. Yeah.
Alan, we'll finish with you, please.
You touched on January being a difficult month in terms of transfers. Are you waiting for another club to make that first move to kind of create a domino effect? Is that how you typically view it?
No. I don't think it's like to get a deal done, you need multiple parties to come to agreement. And there's so many moving parts to that. It's not just a matter of saying, well, this is the player I want, let's go get him. You got to think about the player. You got to think about their representatives. You got to think about the other club. Then that club thinks about replacing that player, and they got to deal with another club. And they got to. So there's multiple moving parts. So again, it's not an easy process. It's not like I said. So, but all you can do is, like I said, work as hard as you can to try and help the situation. That's what the club's doing. Like I said, I can tell you that the club's working as hard as it possibly can to try and get some help for the playing group, but not all of it is in our power.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.